Welcome back to TTS Daily with Yi. It's a fresh week right now and we have a lot to uncover. So Disney's live-action Snow White has been the meme of all jokes over the weekend thanks to its poor opening weekend performance. From people sharing videos online of theatres of Snow White, with the theatres mostly empty, and online reservations of Snow White showing very few tickets reserved. Like this picture shown here, only one ticket is reserved for opening night, and memes created online, especially the one that shows Disney with 240 million budget and with AI reimagination. Look at this. Disney's live-action Snow White earned $43 million domestically and $87.3 million globally on its opening weekend, marking a significant financial disappointment because they had a $240 million budget. The film stars Rachel Zegler and faced backlash for deviating from the 1937 animated classic. Notably, reimagining Snow White is now a leader instead of a damsel in distress, alongside debatable casting choices. Guess who is the evil queen? Gal Gadot, most famous for her Wonder Woman role, is now the evil queen, another debatable choice. Critics widely criticize the movie using phrases like visually repellent, have you even heard of this word, visually repellent, and exhaustingly awful, which likely hurt its audience reception. So tell me, are you going to be planning to watch the live action adaptation of Snow White anytime soon? Our next story is in Selangor, where a customer found glass shards in 5 packets of iced coffee bought from a kopitiam in Seri Kembangan, Selangor. The coffee was purchased at 6 a.m. in the morning on Friday 21st March 2025, and the victim's child found glass fragments after unpacking the drinks at home. Thankfully, no one drank from the iced coffee, okay? The victim returned to the shop and found it closed and filed a police report to prompt action from authorities. You can see from the shared photos and videos showing small and large glass shards with some even resembling broken ice, but they are actually allegedly glass fragments, okay? This post has been shared on social media and netizens call it a life-threatening problem, especially given multiple affected packets. Truly shocking. This just happened over the weekend in Singapore, where a wheelchair-bound woman fell into Lower Seletar Reservoir and passed away on March 22nd, 2025. A passerby named Wei observed the scene and saw a wheelchair on a grass slope, uniformed personnel, and a staff member in a life jacket restricting onlookers. SCDF received a water rescue call at around 12 p.m. on March 22nd. SCDF, Singapore Civil Defence Force, retrieved the 55-year-old woman's body from the water. She was unconscious. She was taken to Khoo Teck Puah Hospital and was pronounced dead on arrival. Preliminary investigations show no foul play and investigations are ongoing. Take care, especially if you have people around you with disabilities or elderly. They shouldn't be near slopes of any kind because the tilted angle might cause them to fall off from their wheelchair or lose their balance. Take care, stay safe everyone. We just covered a story about glass shards being in iced coffee from Selangor, and now we have a story about a rusty nail in a cake from Koufu Food Court in Singapore. So on March 14, 2025 at 3 p.m, Miss Rong, 36-year-old, bit into a rusty nail in a $1.30 walnut cake from Koufu Food Court at Waterway Point, Punggol, okay? She felt an object while biting, spat it out and identified it as a rusty nail, as you can see from the picture right here. Miss Rong reported the incident to the manager, who offered a refund, a free dessert and compensation for medical fees. Kudos for that, okay? She visited a clinic, received a tetanus shot costing 105 Singapore dollars, and the manager reimbursed her on the spot. On March 16, she experienced headaches, body pain and a stiff neck and visited a doctor again and incurred an additional 112 Singapore dollars in fees for headaches, colds and allergy medications. The manager once again paid this bill and advised her to email Koufu for future claims. Koufu replied to Miss Rong apologizing and offered a $100 voucher which she collected from Waterway Point. On March 18, Miss Rong sprained her neck while grocery shopping, attributing it to the nail incident. She consulted a Chinese doctor for acupuncture, massage and medicine, another bill for 126 Singapore dollars, and emailed the receipt to Koufu and awaits a response. She believes Koufu should cover this cost due to ongoing after effects of biting into the rusty nail. Miss Rong hasn't worked for a week due to neck discomfort and is not afraid to eat cake from the brand. She is feeling better after the Chinese doctor's treatment but may need follow-up visit. Wow, I just say food safety standards need to be taken care of. A rusty nail in a cake is life-threatening. And for our last story of the day, this is going to be a long one and something that maybe most of you are already familiar of. This regarding a Tuas checkpoint accident involving the Syrtis Auxiliary Police Officer. The victim, Ng Yishu, 30-year-old Syrtis Auxiliary Police Officer who was injured in March 2023, He was engaged, set to collect keys to a BTO flat in Boon Lay with his girlfriend of over 5 years. However, he is now left in a vegetative state, permanently disabled, bedbound, non-communicative, and tube-fed and requires lifelong care. He suffered traumatic brain injury, bleeding in the brain, multiple facial fractures, underwent 12 surgeries from March to June 2023. Medical costs has costed over 455,000 Singapore dollars as of January 3rd, 2025, and Syrtis covered over 400,000 Singapore dollars of it, with 10,500 Singapore dollars out of pocket and 5,000 Singapore dollars from his MediSave. His girlfriend continued visiting a year post-accident, but the victim's brother Alex advised her to move on, which is a difficult decision, but considering that now the victim has to be in a vegetative state for the rest of his life. The accident happened on March 24, 2023 at 12:46 am at the Tuas checkpoint, where the perpetrator, Mr. Yong, 44 Singaporean, was drunk and speeding. Mr. Yong drank from 5 p.m. on March 23, 2023, then drove from town towards Yishun. He sped at 134 km per hour on AYE at 12:36 am, then 100 to 119 km per hour at Tuas checkpoint. He then lost control of his Lexus on a bend, hit safety humps and mounted a divider and struck the victim Ishu, who was behind a bollard. Ishu was flung and landed face first, and the bollard gantry and barrier and traffic light were all uprooted. Mr. Yong has been sentenced on March 17, 2025 now to 3 years and 6 months in prison, 10 years driving ban post-release. The prosecution statements mention that Yong's action left the victim issue with no quality of life, unable to walk, talk, work or self-care. And Mr. Yong has never contacted the family to apologize as per the victim's brother Alex Ng. Syrtis have continued to provide support to a victim issue, kept issue on payroll and covered most of the medical bills, 400,000, and provided financial legal aid to the family. Really, really heartbreaking to cover this story.